One of the stupidest videos I've ever seen go viral. A bunch of angry Trump supporters, anti-lockdown protesters, yelling at a journalist that he's fake news, and that's about it. Oh, but the delicate sensibilities of people at CNN and other journalists. But these people are being mean to us. Oh no. Oh, poor babies. Man, try going to a foreign country and doing journalism. I was in Venezuela. Let me tell you what it's like when people don't like you because you're a journalist. No, I'm sorry. Some Trump supporters were mean to you. Trump shares video of protesters confronting reporter. Fake news is not essential. And that's true. This has to do with this guy. His name is Kevin Vesey, and he is really milking this, man. Jim Acosta would be proud. In fact, I think he is. Look, man, a journalist showed up to a protest. People called him fake news. He filmed it. And he was like, look at this. They're being so mean to me. Bro, we'll go to an Antifa protest and then talk about this, all right? Calm down. So Donald Trump tweets this out. The dude gets all excited. I love this. He's like, the level of anger directed at the media from these protesters was alarming. This was my story aired on TV. And then he actually did like a director's commentary style thing. Our Kevin Vesey relives the moment several protesters angrily confronted him while he broadcasted on Facebook Live. This is journalism today. It's all about me, man. The story is me. Talk about me. The president retweeted me. Isn't that what he said? Let's look at this guy's Twitter account. What's he? Oh, okay. Now I've been retweeted twice by President Trump. This video has really struck a chord. And just like that, I've been retweeted by the president. Bravo. I'm so proud. When you went to journalism school, were you hoping that one day you would be the story the president would be talking about? I'm sure many people did. That's why they do this. That's why when they're sitting in that stupid Rose Garden press conference, the lady pulls her mask off. Why were you asking me that question, Trump? Shut up. The story's not you. You're supposed to be helping us understand things. But of course, Tim Pool will complain about CNN again. Because as you know, I'm basically becoming the CNN review channel. That's right. I can rag on Brian Stelter and Oliver Darcy for being the Fox News review channel, and then I can rag on myself for being the CNN review channel. But to be fair, I think I'm calling them out for doing this. Not that I think it's much better, but what can I say? I care about it. I don't think they really do. I think they're lying. There's a big difference between complaining about one network all day and me calling out the media in general, including News 12 and CNN. But hey, I'm not going to pretend like I'm much better than they are. All we do is complain about complain about each other. But Brian Stelter writes some of the most disingenuous garbage I have ever seen. This dude has totally lost the plot. I tell you what, news reporters become subjects of ire at anti-lockdown protests. You guys are going to love this. Are you ready? I hope you're ready. I usually come up short when I reach for words to describe the radicalization of the far right in America. He did it! No! Brian! Trump supporters out with signs yelling fake news. Far right? Oh, come on, brother. You have not stepped one foot in any of these actual protests dealing with far left and far right. I'm sorry. A bunch of suburbanite moms with signs are not the far right. They probably don't pay attention a whole lot to politics. They're not going around, waving signs all day, every day. They came out for a single protest. They are not the radicalized far right. Calm down. But I get it. You got to make money, right? This short video conveys it like no words can. Kevin Vesey, a reporter for News 12 Long Island, covered a reopening rally in Comac on Thursday. Vesey was harassed by a bevy of pro-Trump protesters who called him fake news, a traitor, and so on. After he shared the video on Twitter and it went viral, Vesey followed up by saying, "I'll probably never forget what happened today. I was insulted. I was berated. I was practically chased by people and..." What is Antifa? Explaining the movement to confront the far right. The assault of conservative journalists in Portland, Oregon over the weekend has brought renewed attention to anti-fascist protesters who he blamed for the attack. What did Brian Stelter do when it came to Andy Ngo being brutally attacked and beaten in the street? A blurb. It's wrong. Don't do this to journalists. Anyway, moving on. Did he give us some beautiful thesis on the radicalization of the left in this country? No. Of course he didn't. He gave it a blurb. He had to. Everyone was talking about it. I'm sorry, what was that? Kevin Vesey had some mean words said to him. I love the sheer absurdity and the obviousness of the lies and the deception. He doesn't care. Brian Stelter doesn't care. This is why he's a TV show at this point. I think they need to put a disclaimer on the front of his show, like, this is not real news. This is reality television. You know, here's what he says. All the while I was there to tell their story. He did, and he filed this fair report at the end of the day. Yeah, where he ragged on the protesters over not social distancing. He was out there without a mask on too. Or actually, I think he pulls his mask off to talk to the camera. Among the verbal arrows targeting Vesey, you're disgusting. You are the virus. You are the enemy of the people. You shouldn't be here. Traitor. F you. You got, yeah, okay, blah, blah, blah. The crowd didn't reflect all Trump supporters, nor did it reflect all Long Islanders. But these behaviors towards the news media, the intolerance, the indecency, have all been modeled by President Trump. Brian, didn't you call out Antifa for attacking Andy No? Are you telling me that Antifa was modeled by Donald Trump to attack journalists? Spare me, bro. No one should be surprised to see it infect local communities, but everyone should be disturbed by it. Constructive critiques make journalism better, but destructive attacks make society worse. I'm so glad that you dedicate your show all day to talking about the reporters who were attacked and injured, the people who were chased out, had their lives threatened. I was physically attacked by Antifa. I don't remember you saying anything. I remember when I did a video. Oh, who was it? It was Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson had me on his show to talk about Antifa attacking me, as did, I believe, Jesse Waters. So I get to go on Fox News and talk about it. But where's Brian Stelter? Mum's the word. No one could ignore what happened to Andy No. He was pelted with milkshakes, punched several times, left bleeding. I think he was bleeding from his ears and his nose or whatever. Chipped a tooth or something. I think they knocked a tooth out. So we had no choice but to bring it up. Now you can see the true, what's the word I'm thinking of? Dishonesty, I guess. It's a little weak. I was hoping for something stronger, but we'll call it dishonesty. Brian Stelter's a grifter. Because he's claiming this is, I kid you not, the radicalization of the far right. Are you kidding me, dude? Come on, man. Brian knows this is not real. He knows these people aren't far right. I mean, let me pull up this video. It's just a dude. It's just a guy with, what is it? What? So there's a guy wearing a Trump shirt and he's saying you're fake news. That's it. We got some lady. This lady's far right. Bro, the journalist looks more alt-right than they do. More far right than they do. Look at him. Clean cut white guy with blue eyes, hair slicked off to the side wearing a suit. These people just like look like regular suburbanites. He's the one who's dressed all fancy like. But Brian Stelter wants to say they're the far right. Reporters as targets at protests. Dude, Brian, have you never covered anything having to do with protests ever? This is normal, but it's always the far left. Now, I don't think these Trump supporters should be doing what they did, confronting journalists, but they're looking for a symbol to attack. It's something similar left-wing activists do. And this is what you get. Brian won't play fair with you. CNN won't play fair with you. You see a journalist out there doing fake news, I'll tell you what you should do. You should walk up, shake their hand and say, thank you for coming. And that's it. Because look what they do the moment you give them any fodder. He says, the far right is being radicalized because they were mean to a journalist. Dude. Yeah, I remember being chased. I got one for you. When I was in one country, a guy actually stopped me with his buddies. They were all wearing masks, and he held a Molotov cocktail up to my face. The radicalization of the far right, bro. He says, as it so happens, the NYT's Mark Tracy just penned a news story about anti-lockdown protesters raging against reporters. One encounter in Columbus went viral earlier this month, and journalists in at least 3 other states have been involved in altercations at anti-lockdown protests in recent weeks. Tracy wrote, in Germany, reporters covering similar protests have been victims of at least 4 assaults, according to the International Press Institute. Yeah, cry me a river, man. I'll tell you what. The media walks in lockstep with the Democratic Party. The media walks in lockstep with this tribal faction, even when we see courts overturning some of these rules, favoring the protests. It's the strangest thing. They lie. They lie all the time. So what happens is they go out and they're like, we're just here to tell your story. They're not. This dude, Kevin Vesey, dragged these protesters, mocked them, insulted them. He didn't go there to tell a fair story. He went there to get this and then gloat about how the president was retweeting him. Journalists aren't supposed to make themselves the story. I was asked to do it on several occasions, and I said no on several occasions. I was in Venezuela. We were forced to flee after I was accused of being a CIA agent by a high-profile Venezuelan personality. I kid you not. I was told, can this be the story? I said no, and I left. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I am the story. Sometimes the story is Gonzo reporting. I've done interviews, I've gone on the ground where the story is like Tim's adventure, in this particular place. But when we were going for very specific stories, I would try my hardest in many circumstances to avoid being the story myself. It happened a couple times. When I announced I was leaving Milwaukee one time because the riots were getting really bad and they were targeting people they thought were white. Because most of these people don't know my, ethnic makeup, and because I watched an 18-year-old kid get shot in the neck, I thought it would be appropriate to leave. I ended up doing a video about it explaining why I was leaving, because people had requested I had go there. And so the challenge was, if I just leave and stop covering this without saying anything, people are going to be like, WTF, mate. So I made a video saying, hey, here's why I'm leaving. That became a big story among many conservatives who jumped on it and pushed it forward because it suited, their opinions and things like that. It does happen. But this shouldn't be it. Having some people yell at you isn't threatening, isn't a story. This guy filmed it all and made it an event. And then I kid you not, he actually did what did I just pull up? He actually did a director's commentary. Look at this. He's like, let me explain to you what happened and I'll walk you through the video. Oh, bro, shut up. For shame. Right-wing, far-right radicalization. Hey, man, at a certain point, I just laugh. It's just so dumb. I got one more segment coming up for you in a few minutes. I'll see y'all shortly.